All right, good evening, everyone. We had a quick turnaround there. They wanted to get right back into Game 3 here. So for those of you just joining us for this match of Winners Round 2 in the Speedgaming Live 2023 Randomizer Tournament for Super Metroid, we have a best of 3 between mm2nescartridge and Nevdi that is going to Game 3 here. It looks like they're going to be starting really soon. And well, so MM2 won Game 1. Nevdi had a couple of deaths doing a variolous lower Norfair. And MM2 made some early game plays that made it feel pretty far behind, ended up finding that Varia suit. And then in Game 2, MM2 took a pretty big risk that almost paid off, even though in the beginning it looked like it was not going to at all. And Nevdi was able to take a clean victory there, despite a map fighting against him as much as it could. So now we have this Game 3. How do you think they both feel about a Game 3 right here?
Well, first, I guess we can say that Game 3 in Area Rando, it's hard to keep everything straight in your head because of how shuffled the map gets. So there's a lot of randomization going on as we enter the third hour of play.
Yeah, that's really big. I know there are players who, I believe both of our players here use trackers. I know there are some who don't, and some who think that being forced to remember the portals makes them think a bit more, so they play better when they don't use a tracker. But even those players, by the time they get to the third seed in a row, are using a tracker just because it's so easy to start mixing them up after you've played 3 seeds. And you'll find when we get to the interview after this, it'll be really hard for us to ask any questions about Game 1 or Game 2, because it's just really hard to remember what happens in those games, because everything is so shuffled. You can really only have room for the most recent one sometimes.
Right, so we're hoping that no issues come up due to that, but both of them have played a ton of Randomizer, so it should be used to this kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think there have been days where Nevdi and some folks have done 4, 5 practice races in a day. They're a little less stressful, so you know, being more relaxed helps you think, of course. It's really hard to simulate a best of 3 environment with the kind of pressure that goes on here. So super missiles and no power bombs yet. Hopefully they find some power bombs just for their sake. That meme route portal can be a bit of a thorn in their side if they don't, and it's just double super missiles.
Double supers.
As far as not finding power bomb seeds go, I'm not that upset about double supers. I suppose.
Same.
Yeah. Ammo can get really tight. The first big ammo cutoff that these runners are going to be looking for is they want 30 supers for a Ridley fight. If they find the Varia suit, you can start supplementing the supers with power bombs and missiles. But if they don't have the Varia suit and have a decent amount of E-tanks, they really want those 30 supers to be able to deal with a Ridley if they find a Ridley in an unfortuitous location.
So what's really nice about the grapple beam is that's a way to deal with Dragon whenever they run into that. Presumably they're going to have a couple other items like E-tanks and ammo by then.
Yep.
But you'll be able to check off the Dragon as a killable boss.
Yes, the grapple jump out is quite a bit harder without high jump, but still pretty doable. I'm pretty sure both of these runners are proficient enough at it to be able to do it. The big thing to worry about for an early Dragon, even though they have the grapple beam, is being suitless. No Varia makes the fight a lot scarier, and it gives you less attempts at that grapple jump. So, well, what I was
early
saying about
super,
ammo
early charge
still applies because it's Ridley, but now they're not going to need to look for the second cutoff of ammo, which is ammo to kill the final boss, Mother Brain. After those first 30 supers that you want for Ridley, you want more, of course, for a potential ammo Mother Brain. With this charge beam, they're not going to need it, but until they find a beam, and until they find Ridley, they're gonna still be picking up super missiles. Super missiles still save a ton of time, even with this charge beam. A super missile is what 4-5 times more damage than a charge shot. 60 per
Yep,
charge shot,
5 times.
300 per super. So
Yeah, so an early charge find right now means they're going to be trying to skipping a couple missile packs until they do get to around 30 supers. So that's the only difference we're going to see right now. Like without charge, you can pick up every missile or super pack you come across.
And
also get an early green in, so also really nice.
Yeah, and hopefully power bombs are here. I mean, they kind of have to be, unless this is screw attack or something, or oh lord.
Either power bombs or spore spawn.
Yeah, that is an option.
No, they can't get through the wall yet. Pink burn wall.
No, they cannot.
So something has to be right here.
Yeah, and there was a discussion about this the other day, about going up and checking that first if you don't have power bombs, and various, okay, and power bombs. I believe there was a seed once where someone went up there, found power bombs, and were able to get a second power bomb in this reserve area in an iceless seed, and those were the only power bombs either of them ever found. So it was 5 versus 10 going into Turian because the person checked the top first.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think if you're good at the reverse mock ball, it's pretty worth it to check the top first if you're missing power bombs, just because it can give you a chance at an extra power bomb pack or an extra super back there.
Yeah, like ideally, that sounds like the way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a better chance of getting the other miner.
Yep, definitely. And also ideally is if you can, if it's under the bridge, if you can recognize that before you go too far, you get that and just reload the room. Because that ammo check back there can be really big if it's a super or a power bomb, especially in seeds that like they're starting to withhold them. 5 supers or 5 power bombs in many seeds can be a big difference. And okay, now they're gonna stop picking up supers once they hit 30 pretty much.
Yeah, that's charge plasma and Varia. So like,
yeah, actually with Varia,
they can do a lot.
Yeah, with Varia, they're probably picking up even less supers now. Now it's power bombs. They want 15 in case they don't find Ice Beam. And do they have bombs? With no bombs either, possibly a little bit more. This is looking pretty far forward, but if it becomes a seed where they might want to do some sort of crystal flash clip without regular bombs, doing that with only 15 power bombs is really tricky because it's a frame perfect trick and you only get 5 attempts at it.
Very hard. Yeah, all these items together means we can do all the bosses, actually.
Yeah.
Like, it's not comfortable or anything, but...
Yeah, Dragon I would say is just
fine.
The least comfortable. I mean, with Varia helps a lot on the damage you take grapple jumping out. And I think this is a pretty good ammo check here. I think if you don't have to do a door transition to do an ammo check, it's, and especially in this early of the game, it's a pretty fine check to make.
And apparently we're in a super heavy seed, so good chance of finding supers there.
Yeah, after the last 2, that's appreciated.
More tries for this gate clutch.
Yep. Oh.
High jump on the other side would make it free.
Yep, Nevdi got a first try. Congratulations to him. He probably feels really good about that. And is rewarded with a calm, cool high jump boots.
So with high jump, you can begin thinking about skipping gravity. Yes,
absolutely. High jump also just makes that grapple escape from Dragon significantly easier. It doesn't seem like it'd be that big of a difference, but it really there's gravity suit. Okay, this is a seed. This reminds me of the basic seeds. The rules end up being changed. Yep, both rules the rules end up being changed on the progression stuff before the tournament started. But when people were running some of these beforehand, the basic seeds would kind of play out like this. If you weren't finding E-tanks early, you were probably in a basic seed, and you would just check everything. Come on, Nevdi, do it. Ah.
Right. So right now they want portal knowledge the most.
Yes.
They have, like, enough items to do anything at all. So we want portal knowledge to be able to route the seed.
Mm-hmm. And seeds like this can get tricky to play.
Yeah.
Oh, nice power bomb for Nevdi there. From the little
Yeah.
ad.
They're currently pretty low on power bombs.
Mm-hmm. Because in seeds like this, I mean, you still want E-tanks too. Ice beam and speed could be huge. And well, there's
That's a good
Turian.
find.
You could find. And the other thing to think about for these players is, I think a really good way to play these, and how I've personally found the best way to play them, is when you're looking for portals in this situation, you kind of try to follow as much as you can. If you're like going from like Red Bryn to like West Meridia or whatever, for instance, if it's not a boss area, maybe you're a little bit more inclined to not follow it if it's a boss area. But if it's not a boss area, as long as you can leave portals like together in twos, so you can grab them together later if you come out one side, I think it's really good to try and follow as just as much as you can and just go to the closest portals.
And a reserve tank for first health tank.
Yeah.
So we're still looking for majors. Need a couple E-tanks to finish a seed. So once we do run across those, like get your 3 E-tanks, then it turns into more of a situation where you want to try to skip things. But for now, we still need majors.
Yep, and I think ice is a good skip here. And both players are skipping it here. I think it's, especially without a speed booster, it's one of the slower majors that you can check. You're not getting any ammo checks with it for power bombs, because you still want that 15th power bomb. You don't really need supers anymore. I mean, they're still nice for Ridley and just, general utility. So if you find one kind of on the way, you still might pick it up, but it's that 15th power bomb that is both players are going to be looking for, especially with a potential crystal flash clip on the table.
Yeah, that's kind of the main thing they're looking for in regards to ammo, is that crystal flash clip. But being boss shuffle, there's a chance you don't need to worry about it. But until you know, you do want to plan for it.
Yep, exactly.
Thinking about 3 power bomb packs for Metroids is a little too far out.
Yeah, and then the other thing too is, since there's a refill when you enter Turian in area, 10 isn't too bad. Basically, the way you do it with 10 is you do the first room, and if you get enough to do the rest of the rooms, you just continue. And if you don't, you just go back to the elevator and refill right there. It's still slower, of course, but it's not terribly slow in comparison.
Yeah, and it's safe. So yeah, we know Torian as one of our dead ends, and that's one of like the biggest time losses, is if you take a very long transition like this back of wreck ship and run into Torian. So with that out of the way, it's a little safer to run through. But it's just Crockmire as a dead end that they gotta watch for.
Nevdi being a bit scared.
Yeah. One reserve only Ridley.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, right? Like, high jump makes it so much more comfortable. I mean, if you're someone who doesn't play low percent, and here it is. If you're someone who doesn't play low percent categories, high jump makes Ridley so much more comfy.
Let's see. It's like, how many shots is this? Is this 40 shots?
Sounds about right.
Pretty low super count because it's wreck ship. Ridley always is.
Oh no.
Oh,
That's
bad.
Oh no, that is not how you wanted to see this seed go. Especially on a seed this fast. That is, I mean, back to the
That's
beginning
back
too.
to back to push file.
Yeah, that is not what you want to see.
Such a weird thing to happen too. Get stuck under the platform.
Yeah, and I mean, like, even if you're someone who's confident in your Ridley fight, in vanilla, for example, the weird thing about Randomizer is it removes a lot of context from what you're doing. And by that, what I mean is, like, you're used to doing stuff in a certain order when you play vanilla. So, like, even things that you know how to do feel kind of different sometimes in Randomizer because, like, it doesn't flow in the same way it kind of does when you're playing vanilla. So, like, you know, a really fight like this isn't necessarily that dangerous for these players in vanilla, but, like, you know, you're in a Randomizer, you don't know what's going to be here, and it just makes it kind of awkward and weird, even if it's something that normally should feel pretty comfortable for you.
Yeah, like Ridley in a speedrun is more or less a scripted fight where you've really practiced with the equipment. You have your opener set up, probably your closer, like your way of getting grabbed. But here, and even entering the room, you have to mentally prepare for all the other bosses. You don't even know that it's Ridley.
Yeah.
But Nevdi just taking it safer with that save.
Yeah, I mean, even a Dragon is weird there because you don't normally do ammo Dragon. It's like, you know, even with Gravity Suit, 99 energy plus just reserve ammo Dragon is weird. You don't do it normally. It's easy to take damage if it's not something you're practiced at. I probably would have saved myself personally, just because, like, I feel, well, especially in a seed like this, I like, not to talk too much about what I would do, but I would feel like I'm very advantaged in a seed like this as a movement strong player, and would just save because I would feel like that death is one way that I would lose, kind of a thing.
It's kind of what I'm wondering towards how they're playing the seed is which one would feel advantaged and which one would feel like they need to take the risk of not saving.
I think both of them probably have pretty similar movement. You know, random movement is different from vanilla movement. MM2 also generally does not take, you know, he plays all out. It's respectable. Unfortunately, just kind of did not work out for him in this case. Taking that death there, and that, you know, that's kind of the worst way you want a seed that's this fast to kind of end. And
really hard to come back in any fathomable away from that.
yeah,
just way too fast.
And as I mentioned, kind of I think the way that to play seeds that are this fast is follow. Try not to leave one portal in a location, but you can leave two. So Nevdi has that upper north area. He's got two left. You know, he could have gone back out the front of Wreck Ship and checked them both. But going out the back of Wreck Ship is going to take you to new places. Almost certainly. And it's also a bad portal to get to. And you have all the equipment to do it really quick. You're just trying to go to the fastest portals you're trying to go to the fastest portals without leaving yourself open to getting screwed over by leaving a portal, basically.
Right. I think we checked off the other right side of Criteria portal with that.
Yep, and that's really nice because
cleaned up.
Yeah, when you find those power bombs at Bryn Reserve in this situation, it's really tempting to go back up and CWJ across just for that portal, because that portal can be a really big thorn in your side. And, like, if it's not an easily accessible portal, you're never going to be closer to it again. I think it's overly safe, maybe something to do as a favored player, but even as a favored player, you could assume your opponent isn't going to do it, and thus there's no point because your opponent's also going to run into issues with it if you do. But I think it's just possibly maybe a little too safe. Certainly tempting though.
Yeah, I think that's how I feel about it. I think it feels too safe. But wouldn't be surprised to see that.
Absolutely. And I think there's like a lot of stuff that you can do in this that maybe either feels to some players a little too safe or a little too aggressive. There's just a lot of variables in this that it's hard to, with incomplete information, to say that there's an objectively correct decision in a lot of situations about stuff like that.
So Nevdi, getting some really good portal information with this routing. Just happens to clean up all these leftover spots.
Yep, and this is kind of what I meant about you kind of want to leave them in twos, because now that tells Nevdi kind of where to go next, right? You found Upper Norfair, so you kind of have to check single chamber here, right? Because if you don't, you're never getting back to it if it's important, or if it's a bad portal on the other side. And then you kind of just follow the seed in that way, and checking as fast of portals as you can without trying to leave yourself portals that have the potential to really be a thorn in your side later. So I think he's playing this really well.
Yeah, I agree with that. Routing this really well. Did run into Kraid's Lair. That's the other dead end, hard to find boss area. Gonna run up on a second boss kill here.
Yep, and it's finding this is very nice. You now are not going to be in a situation where you go into a front of East Meridia and feel bad about not checking the back. I mean, maybe you'd still do if like back of East Meridia is like back of LN kind of thing in this situation. But these two dead ends are some of the more important ones to find. That Croc one is one that either you will never find sometimes, or you can kind of, by process of elimination, figure out what it is.
Yeah, it's the dead ends that have the potential to be a huge time sink. And we got the important ones found now.
Yep. So now it's kind of, you find a boss area, you do it, especially now that Dragon is dead. So this is big. Nevdi does not need to really check any more majors for items to find. I mean, I'd probably pick up an E-tank or two. I don't, like, you can beat the game on 2+1. But, I mean, that helps a lot too. Without Ice Beam, it's
a lot of items that have good value here.
And without the Ice Beam, you can take a deceptive amount of damage on Mother Brain 1. And that can be a little scary. And especially in like a seed like this that is so fast. In a fast seed, things that are going to like lose you a lot of time from mistakes are going to be really bad. So I'm a big fan of in area picking up E-tanks when you find them, or maybe checking for a couple of E-tanks in this situation. And now with the screw attack, Lower Norfair is significantly less scary. I think checking behind Kraid is probably still going to be advisable, just for even an E-tank, just to make your life safer. You don't know when you're going to find LN, for example.
Yep, with Ridley and Dragon, and now with screw attack, just the random enemy damage is going to be significantly less of a thing to worry about.
Yep, and I think Nevdi's coming here for an E-tank, if I had to guess. He's going to come here, check for like ice and E-tank or something, and he's going to try and follow the tube.
Yeah, they have a longer trip than behind a boss door for a major.
A little bit longer, but it's still one of the faster ones, I think. I think maybe what you would do instead is you would check tube and not follow it, and then, oh no, he's just skipping. Oh no, he already checked the tube. He came through from the tube. Never mind. That makes so much more sense.
Oh, yeah. So that major was pretty much on the way.
Yep. I was gonna say, like, if you just check the tube on the way, grab that major, and then you get this portal, and then you feel really good to leave the top two in Redbrin here. And oh, it loops on itself. Ooh. So we talked about this last seed. It's rare that it happens, but this is an example where it does. And the other thing about it looping on itself, though, is that the way it happens means that it can't happen in any other area. So like you can't have two different areas loop on themselves. But what you can have is you can have the same area loop on itself twice technically. Because the only way it happens is if there's no other area to connect to. So like basically in this case, those two portals were the last two portals randomly selected.
And that means West Meridia is not going to connect to itself.
Correct. And as I was saying last seed, you can usually play around the assumption that that doesn't happen. I think it's right to play around that assumption if, or to play assuming it doesn't happen. I think playing around two portals connecting is overly safe if like what you have to do to play around it is like significantly slower. Like if your routing loses like a minute or like 90 seconds playing around the two portals connecting, I think that's probably a little overly safe. If it's maybe like a 20 or 30-second difference, then I think it's perfectly fine to play around them connecting. It's just so rare to happen.
So with West Meridia here, Nevdi's going to get all the big hub region information. They'll go a long way towards knowing where the final portals are.
Yeah, so it looks like we... Meme route is missing.
Right.
Croc is missing. And then 2 in east. Back of that land. So this is front of east. So
So Torian is business center, and front of Lore Norfair is also very close to business center.
Yeah, and Nevdi can't go this way.
But can get through this region.
Yes, if you're Nevdi, do you go out the back? This is where this gets weird, right? Because you have to think of the permutation. So going out the back, if it's the back of LN, you're actually really happy. Your health's kind of suspect for acid dive, but you do have that screw attack. And you're gonna pick up some E-tanks around here probably before you do it, at least one. Oh no, MM2. Okay. Oh no.
Don't die.
Okay.
Makes it through?
Makes it through. Yeah, I mean, I can understand MM2 basically just being like, no, I'm just gonna go straight into LN. I'm gonna hope the portals are like so terrible that this saves me the death, basically.
Yeah, that's definitely what he's thinking, but
yeah,
the portal's been working out pretty well for Nevdi.
Yep. And so I think the next interesting thing to think about is, does Nevdi go out the back? So the back could just have Croc.
That's the thing. Does the
if
back
it's
have
meme
Croc?
route, it's not that bad for you though, because it like puts you back to green, like to Criteria, and you can just go to Green Bryn from there. To get front of LN. How far is this from Green Bryn otherwise? It's not that far from Green Bryn otherwise. It kind of is. You have to go get back to Business Center without Speed Booster, so that's pretty far. If it's Croc, it's dead time. And if it's back of Lore Norfair, you would just do Lore Norfair back to front, and then you end right next to Turian. So I think 2 of the 3, I think one of them kind of is maybe slightly better / a wash. Another one is really good, and then the third one's just dead time. So maybe you save and check the back? I don't know.
I don't know either. But like that upside is really good.
Yeah, the upside of it's really good.
I wonder how much you think about what your opponent would do in this case.
Yeah,
it is
in
a
this
fast
situation.
seed, so every second matters.
Fast seed, absolutely. Because yeah, that's the one thing I like about using a tracker is you can see stuff like that to me. Because if I'm just trying to remember the portals, I have a really hard time visualizing what portals I haven't seen yet sometimes. So just being able to like kind of route end games based on like possible scenarios is a really big advantage, I think, of being able to visualize it.
Yeah, I'd never be able to do that without a tracker.
Yeah, same. I think the fact that some people can is pretty impressive to me.
Too, making this reserve only Lore Norfair run work.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit slow, but you know, he's getting through it. Yeah, and I think the other reason you go out the back, now I think about it, is like your alternative is you just go out the front and then just decide to do front to front Lore and Warfare. I mean, I still think you go out the back. Because even if it is meme route, like, it puts you pretty close to, it's probably a wash to get back there. I think you still go out the back. But like, these are the kind of things you need to think about, especially in a fast seed. Like, obviously, you know, there's going to be a decision that is right with complete information, but you want to kind of make the one that's most likely to be right based on the incomplete information. So possibly some of these ammo things Nevdi's picking up are just, he likes to call them thinking checks. You just get to think during the fanfare for 7 seconds, don't have to play the game.
Pantune not give him any thinking checks.
Nope.
Loss only. You just make a choice, and
yeah, I
either
think
works
if you're
or
gonna
doesn't.
check the back, you probably save. Is it that much? It is. It's so slow to get to come from the back. Actually, I always think of the back as just being Plasma Beach, and then you go through it entirely, and you're like, oh wait, no, this is terrible. Like, there's so many extra rooms. So Nevdi not saving makes me think he's just gonna go out the front and do front to front Lore and Warfare. Oh, no, he's just gonna check the back without saving. I mean, I think it's fine. You could argue that saving is safe. Yeah, I think you could argue saving is safe because it's a 1 in 3 for it to not work out, but it seems like a very small investment to save some time in the event that you hit that 1 in 3.
Yeah, it's like saving some time in the worst case that like puts you in a bad position in the race.
And something
that to happen.
Something I'd not thought about. This is Croc back here, and him doesn't get some E-tanks. He's stuck.
Let's see. Reserve only acid dive.
I don't know. Like, with space and high jump, I think you could do it on 1 or 2 tanks. I think 2. I think with just high jump, I don't know.
With space, I don't know that high jump helps much. Not the way I do it.
It does a little bit, because your space jumps just gain you more height for each one. Maybe not like a full tank.
It is.
So it is Croc.
Good for Nevdi.
Very good for Nevdi. This means this is going to be the back of Lore and Warfare. Oh, no, this is meme route. Or, sorry, never mind. I was like, no, Nevdi wants the back of Lore and Warfare. Never mind, this is meme route.
You're right.
Yeah.
This is the mid option.
This is the middle option. I think it probably comes out in a wash with going through the front. That's the other hard part about these seeds, is you have to kind of have some sort of intuition on how long certain things take. Because you know, with this, you're trying to decide, like, how much worse is this versus, you know, just electing to not do it, right? And I don't think going this way is that much worse than just going out in front.
So M2 got a reserve, so it's still pretty stuck here.
Yeah. Firefly was just wave beam. 1 + 2 possible, maybe? E-tank, please?
Let's see. So this is going to be top of Green Bryn for Nevdi, and then follow that all the way down. So he knows what he wants to do from here.
Yep. I think MM2 is just humoring himself at this point. Or because you know, I think even if Nevdi died, there's a chance Nevdi probably saved somewhere.
Well, at
But,
this
I
point, like made the gamble to
yeah.
Lord Norfair and
Yeah, I mean, I think
Spot.
you could also argue that MM2's death was like such a large amount of time that like this risk couldn't pay off in a way that would save it back. So his best chance is just playing it straight up and hoping the same thing happened to Nevdi. Is probably his out. One thing I have learned from stuff like this is sometimes, I mean, you know, in MM2's case, you know, I think seeing the fact that Nevdi hasn't forfeited yet, because I think if Nevdi has died this late, he's probably forfeiting. He probably knows he's dead in the water, but I definitely have seen a lot of races that aren't actually over when the runners think they're over. You know, you feel really bad about everything that's happened, but you convince yourself that nothing bad happened to your opponent, when in reality maybe something pretty bad happened to them.
But still, 35 minutes in, and this is... See, this would be a reset to the Lord Norfair elevator.
Yeah.
Looks like that's it for MM2.
Yeah, and there's a forfeit. Nevdi still has to finish this out. He has 3+1. Acid dive definitely possible under this equipment. High jump makes it a lot easier. And the gravity, of course, does. Gravity definitely makes it easier. But Nevdi still does have to finish it out.
Maybe should be okay with this acid dive.
Yeah.
I was thinking about checking my map random numbers on how much health it would take, but it's a bit too fragmented.
Yeah, and I mean, you can definitely do it on this. You just probably have to be full or close to it, or just not make any mistakes. And the fact that MM2 has forfeit does inform Nevdi to save.
Yes.
If Nevdi is looking at the race room.
Like the easy way to die for Nevdi would be to hit some pirates going through the acid dive.
Yeah.
With the save, that's not really a problem. Crate left.
Nevdi, you okay, man? I think maybe Nevdi thought he picked it up and looked away. And then looked back and realized he hadn't picked it up.
I did that many times in my race, where I'd like walk into a door and then just stand there.
Yep, I've definitely done that. Like I walk to a portal that I missed with my beam and look over at my tracker and then look back, and I've not gone through the portal. I'm just standing there like a chump. Yeah, so all things considered, the items came fast in the seed, but the map slowed it down a little bit. A front-to-front Lord Norfair is not very fast. And then, you know, no movement items beyond high jump isn't necessarily the fastest either. You know, if you find high jump, finding speed is just really fast. But I mean, it's still going to be a pretty quick finish here. Possibility of a sub 50 finish here for Nevdi. But that front-to-front LN probably puts it out of reach.
It does help that Torian's right here.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we do get to skip a lot of the slow region clears that you normally see in a seed, but they did end up full clearing like all the portal information pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, imagine how fast the seed is if Turian and Crocker switched. That'd be wild.
to be the good order to check things in for that.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, if they had Croc into the Turian, they probably play differently, or Nevdi probably plays differently.
Nice to see the tournament still at 50, 53 or 54, I think.
Yeah. And I think there were a few seeds that had some sub 50 potential. But definitely, you only see a handful of them. The thing about sub 50 seeds in this mode is not only do the items have to cooperate, the map kind of does. This is one where it looked like the items were cooperating, and the map kind of made it a little bit trickier with requiring a front-to-front Lore Warfare. Front-to-front Lore Warfare is pretty slow.
Yeah, the map was like cooperative in that you can get stuck down one way and had to have a bad backtrack.
Oh yeah,
worse was the main route find.
Oh, this is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yep. Even took a pirate hit.
Plenty of health.
Yep. Selfish for me, but it would have been fun to see MM2 try the 0+3 acid time. That'd have been fun.
Instead, we get to sit in grapple room. I wonder why Nevdi's checking so many minors.
Probably checked out. If he's looking at the race room, he knows MM2 is forfeit. And he's probably trying to talk to him or something. And is probably just, and also, you're on your third seat of the day, in a much higher stress environment than racing friends in a group. So, probably some fatigue as well.
The fatigue factor.
Yeah, I suppose it's also because he doesn't have a Zeb skip. But, I think he's got enough ammo to kill all the Zebatites and Mother Brain too at once. But now that I think about it, that's something I should math out. I don't think I've ever actually mathed out how much you would need to do all the Zebatites and Mother Brain 1. It's never something that I've thought about. I just always assumed that if I'm killing the Zebatites, I probably have enough.
This was a very early charge seed, so you're gonna have less ammo than normal.
Yeah,
Maybe
definitely.
make a point of going right out of your way for it.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly has enough.
Yeah, I think it's... What is it? Is it 3 supers and a missile?
Might be
10 missiles for a Zebetite?
2 missiles and a super. Or 3 supers and 2 missiles.
Is it? Okay, it's 11.
Missiles.
Okay, it's 11.
Because they regenerate one.
Oh yeah, they regenerate, okay. So for like 4 of them. Yeah, this is enough. Generally with early charge you don't have plasma too, so you're finding 30 supers anyway. Or trying to.
It's nice to see everyone working on their Powerbomb Metroid strats.
I know mine are still really bad. Definitely taking away some notes from this series. 2 really high level runners. It's a little unfortunate this last one has ended the way it has for MM2. I think this could have been a really fun one to watch, but that's kind of how it goes. You can talk about the decision making and the depth of the decision making in this mode all you want, but at the end of the day, Super Metroid's also a very execution heavy game, and sometimes one mistake can really spiral out of control.
Yeah, like in this seed, the problem was 1 reserve only Ridley fight.
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be able to practice enough to, I guess, get through that. But it's still any mistakes at all and to death.
Yep, because especially it's hard to make just one mistake on Ridley. Once you make the first one, the next one comes really easy. And then it's also a very high pressure game 3, right? And I think after the first mistake, MM2 knows he doesn't have a save. So it just gets really hard. It's perfectly understandable. I'm kind of surprised. I like get why not. I wouldn't save there, but you could also argue that I'm scared. And I definitely would agree that I'm scared. Just, one mistake and it snowballs really bad. But
I think we were seeing like MM2 gain time over Nevdi by like playing faster, a save.
Absolutely.
You know, there's a risk to doing that.
For sure. In an execution game, and Ridley's just not what you wanted to see there with 0+1, because even just
it's a little early for that.
Yeah, well, because even like I feel like so often you say a reserve on Ridley is okay, and yeah, so Nevdi's probably ruining sub 50 by saving here. But I get it, right? The only way MM2's forfeit, you don't want to have to go all the way back and just make everyone wait an extra 10 minutes if something bad happens. But generally one reserve on Ridley is worth more than an E-tank, right? If you don't have the Various suit. But I feel like if you're at 0 tanks, one reserve is worse than an E-tank by a lot. Just because like it's gonna trigger and then you're not gonna have iframes after, you're just gonna take a double hit anyway, unless you use it automatically. And especially if it's not something you're practiced at, pausing in the middle of the Ridley fight is not a trivial thing. It's weird. It's also really weird to do it without losing time, especially if you're using charge shots. You're gonna have to be using your thumb probably to hold a charge shot and reach your index finger over to claw pause. It's really awkward. So
against Ridley, like good chance of that second hit by the reserve. And then in this case was also in the acid.
Yes.
So that's just like your entire reserve right there.
Absolutely. It's just so easy for things to snowball like that. So thankfully Nevdi has a reserve. If we're looking at his health right now, it's not where you want it to be. But
273.
Yeah. It's kind of weird too that like even the stuff on the way that you might check for an E-tank didn't really hit as E-tanks either. Yeah, he got a grapple beam that he found after having killed Dragon. Or wait, no, grapple beam was early. Never mind.
Grapple was first item.
It was first item. You're right. Even I'm getting seed bleed as a commentator.
This will be Nevdi finishing it up shortly, finishing up the series. And if you like what you've seen, you can give the runners a follow. mm2nescartridge and Nevdi.
Yep, absolutely. These two are both fantastic at this randomizer. M2 is also just a very fantastic link to pass randomizer player, as well as SMZ3. I believe M2 actually won the SMZ3 qualifier this morning by quite a few minutes. Both just really, really good players, really good randomizer players. I think in the past with Super Metroid Randomizer, especially pre-area randomizer, there was less of a distinction between vanilla movement and rando movement because there were just a lot less people who played a lot of randomizer. It was mostly just a bunch of vanilla players. But I think as people have gotten better at randomizer, randomizer specific movement is definitely a skill that you kind of have to build. It can be easier to build with good vanilla movement, but good vanilla movement doesn't automatically mean you're going to have a huge movement advantage over everyone in randomizer sometimes. Just, uncomfortable equipment and other stuff.
Like randomizer started out like full vanilla map, and so oftentimes you just find a few movement items that you're comfortable with, and you have a big movement advantage. The early Green Prince Star area Normally you don't have anything for that. So we can pull ahead there. But with
Mhm.
this area randomization, just a lot of the zones are shuffled up. You start doing areas backwards.
Mhm.
So it takes away a lot of that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think vanilla players want to see more movement items. And then the people who play more rando don't. If like they feel like the vanilla player is much better at moving, like high jump and speed in a seat against Eddie is scary because he will move really well. Guy's a machine. So, but yeah, both these players fantastic. Pretty good at really good at vanilla, really good randomizer specific movement too. Some people may say it's a dark horse pick, but at the beginning I thought either of these two could have won the whole tournament too. Both the Super Metroid Randomizer skill has just increased so much in the past, even like year and a half. There are probably a good 8 to 10 people who would have a chance to take home this tournament.
Everyone's just really good at this game now.
And this mode
Game's so
too.
hard.
Yeah, and this mode. This mode is like so much deeper than you think at first, and so many people are so good at it. Really glad I kind of took the time to learn how deep some of these new Super Metroid Randomizer modes go, because it's been a lot of fun, and I've been really enjoying it.
Just over 50 minutes here for Nevdi. Turning the ship at 50:35 for finish time. And with that, Nevdi's going to take the series and move on.
Yep.
MM2 falls to loser bracket because we are a double elimination.
Yep, double elimination, and we're in the best of 3s. Let's see. Maybe we can get the players in here for an interview as well. Probably going to be a bit hard to talk about anything other than that last seed, though maybe a bit easier because it was such a fast seed. But it's really hard to remember game 1 when you've played 3 of them. So looks like we are now joined by both Nevdi and mm2nescartridge. GG's to both of you. Fantastic series. It was a lot of fun to watch. That last game, there was, unfortunately for M2, there was that death. But I think a good series. I thought that game 2 was really interesting. That portal knowledge you had, MM2, was trying its hardest.
Yeah.
It was trying its hardest to hold Nevdi back.
Yeah.
I think if you had a save in Green Bryn and reset back to it, that portal knowledge is big enough to have won you the match.
Yeah,
honestly.
that's what I was thinking. Like,
yeah,
if I'd saved the Green Bryn elevator, I would still go to back wreck ship, then I reset, and I think I have a decent shot at winning after that.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, it was kind of crazy, like, because at first, you're watching and you think it's like, okay, it's really shambles. This Dragon's really hard. Like, this is, I mean, if you can kill Dragon, maybe that's big. But it was without a reserve.
It was just
without
so
a
many
reserve.
shambles.
Yeah, without a reserve, it's kind of miserable. But then, like, as the map is forming, it's like this map is trying its hardest to hold Nevdi back in this game too.
Yeah.
I think I don't feel good about game 2. I should not have gone back to East Meridia. I forgot about Meme Route Portal, and I was like counting him out wrong, and I'm like, oh, it's just the game's just going to end over here. Let's just do East now. And then as I was in East Meridia, I'm like, wait a second, that's not right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think I have to go at the back. And then when Kraid was there and not Dragon, I was like, oh my god. So I had to go left to play for Turian at the back of a wreck ship over there. But then when it wasn't, I felt bad, but at least it wasn't. What would have been bad for me? Yeah, if it was me out there, I just would have started crying. It would have been so miserable. So don't feel good about the
I
second
think in
one.
that game you didn't go out the back of East, right? And you ran up green. Yeah.
I'm not supposed to even go to East in the first place.
I kind of think so too. But or what was it? No. I'm trying to think.
Oh
yeah, in game 2, then when you found back of wreck ship, I was thinking about like, and I think it's you did like with incomplete information probably the right thing is
Yeah,
finish
yeah.
checking West Meridia, right? But
Yep.
like if you just do that rec ship right there, you know the east is back,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
then you can just do LN back to front and end next to
Yep.
meme route
And
for
that's the
Kraid.
route I was so scared of there as
Yeah.
well. If you don't go to east, like if you don't do MM2 Shambles, if you just go straight to West Meridia, it is like such an amazing route. You still scout the portals at the top. You do lower north there, back to front, and then you do wreck ship back to front, and then you've got the crate, you've got the Dragon boss dead, and then you just kill it there. And that's not it's not the god route, but it's not it's I think it's the route you're supposed to do given the knowledge. But me going back to east ruined that. So yeah.
And like that portal knowledge also helped MM2 be in a situation where meme route before fighting Turian was actually not a bad option.
Yeah.
It was kind of risky because Turian could be there, but like he ended up in a situation where it's like I'm either running up Green Bryn to get the last 2 in west that I'm missing, or I'm doing meme route here.
Yeah, and it's also like I kind of feel like I need to hit this 2 and 3 of meme route being good, because if I don't, I just lose anyway.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because Dragon Shambles.
Yeah, and like you may have even felt that way if you reset that portal knowledge at that point too, kind of thing.
Yeah, potentially.
And that Kraid find it was so big because you just get to route the end game so much cleaner. Like
it was ridiculous.
It's pretty crazy that you were in cutscene considering those shambles. So don't feel good about the second win, but I understand how it happened now. The first one is supposed to be my seed. Like the first seed is supposed to be the seed that I'm winning, and I completely underestimated that LN. Like that's correct. I was speechless. Like I couldn't believe that I was in those shambles.
When I think waiting for the drops in Key Hunter Stairs is just wrong. Because if you don't get a big health, you're losing health effectively, right? And like since you're not full on other stuff, you're not like guaranteed a big health. I think if you just like go, you might not even don't wait for drops in Key Hunter Stairs. You might not even have to farm Fire Flea Funes for health, but you're in a much better spot to farm the Funes too there if you don't wait for the drops. And I think that was also probably a big thing there.
Well, I'm not even supposed to be in that position in the first place. Like, I had 20 supers, and then I'm like, And I thought, okay, if this is Dragon down here, it's okay. Like, I'll make sure I keep a Crystal Flash, and then I'll be right. Then I felt so good when it wasn't an E-Tank and it was a Crystal Flash. I'm like, okay, this is pretty difficult. I feel good. But then I'm like, wait, this is... I'm not carrying this far enough. I'm playing this way too safe. I needed to jump across the room to get to the other side to make the gap shorter, and then I needed to just go. But I completely underestimated it. So it was good to see the mode kicking my ass still, even though I've done that so many times. But I just wasn't ready for that situation. Smash me.
And I think someone in chat said they were surprised you didn't do at least first item a croc there. And
I think I'm supposed to. Yeah.
I don't know. The reason is my big thing with that is back of LN is very likely to be here, and if it's here, you want to do it, and your super count is so bad that you can't just do first item at croc. You're gonna have to check the second item and farm your supers back.
I think that's what MM2 and I were talking about. It's like, I guess if you have charge, you do it, but with not, I was like, I really need to keep my ammo up. But MM2
exactly,
he was just going to go up the top of Redfish and farm there.
Yep, and you just check the other 2 portals, and if back of LN doesn't pop, then maybe you do a first item at croc. Kind of thing. But like
I don't know. I just didn't have. I didn't even pick up the E-Tank at Mama Turtle because I'm like, I'm not. This is fine. Like this LN's easy, and
I know. I was
shocked.
The least fun you had finding charge beam in your life? Question mark.
100%. So bad. But there's the shambles in the first one. Looks like I kind of got lucky that MM2 shambled the second one, so I don't feel good about the second game, and then the third one wasn't much of a thing because of the Ridley death.
I mean, it's the second one though is like, if you have a save, I'm surprised you went through the back of wreck ship there. Especially
I'm surprised I did too.
Yeah. I don't know. I
saved.
I was
MM2 because when he did grapple jump, went through the back of wreck ship without high jump.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
I had spring in space, so it wasn't like the worst thing in the world, but it wasn't. I don't know. It was just like I don't want to go all the way back through here and then also have to walk through most of Green Brain.
Yeah,
to do anything
definitely.
else.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So it's like I've already come this far. I might as well finish the job.
Yeah,
Well, I thought it was gonna be
I
like a
definitely
top
I
level.
get that. I think it feels really risky though. There's so many bad portals at the front.
Yeah, there's so many bad portals, and it's only a 50-50. I can kill the boss, but yeah.
Yeah, with the save, it's probably a little bit better. But even with the save, it feels like the map has to work out almost exactly the way it did for like that info to pay off that much, even with the save.
Yeah, the map just carried me in game 2. It wasn't enough.
Yeah, I mean, so like I don't even like if that is reran and like say you don't go through the back there, right, and you just get that information. I don't know how impactful that information is with just the back of Wreckship there, right?
Yeah, who knows?
You need the front too, I think.
And the Dragon, kind of.
Yeah, if you could save there and then go all the way through and get the front and Dragon somehow, that's pretty big. But yeah, I don't know, it's hard. Like we focus on this stuff, but it's good to see that this is a really hard game and we're really pushing it. MM2 and I know that at least I am. I think that we understand this matchup is kind of crazy, so it can look a bit ridiculous the way we're playing sometimes or how far we're pushing it, just because we know how competitive this series is. So it's not. I'm not surprised that we had shambles the way that we did, because we're really playing at the edge on these ones. I feel.
I mean, I feel like we have to. If we don't, then I don't know.
Yeah, we.
I mean, I don't know. I just always play like this.
Yeah, you do.
But yeah,
I think you have toned it down a bit though. But yeah, you're pretty aggressive.
I think I've toned down like the recklessness, but I definitely keep the aggressiveness.
I even like the no save before Ridley. I wasn't feeling it. 3 games fatigue. This gets. I can do so many of these back to back, but in a competitive nature, it's hard. It's really tough.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Like, I think I talked about it a little bit. When you're racing friends 4 seeds in a row, there's no stress. When you're doing this 3 seeds in a row, there's a ton of stress. And I kind of agreed with you taking the save. I probably would have taken the save too, genuinely. And you could argue that that's me playing scared, but my other reasoning for it though is I feel like if I get both suits in high jump and green Bryn, the only way I'm losing is if I'm dying. So
I mean, yeah, fair. I don't know. I feel like that's not true for me for a number of reasons. First off, I don't have a 41, but I don't know. It's like there's only a 1 in 4 shot that realistically comes into play.
Yeah,
and
it has to also be Ridley.
And I also have to shamble the fight.
I mean, honestly, I was more scared of Dre there. Like,
no, you got 0.
Do we have screw attack for Dre?
You got screw attack.
You got grapple. Dre's pretty scary.
You have grapple. You have grapple and Varia and gravity. You are fine.
Oh, grapple! I forgot you guys are grapple. Never mind.
Yeah, the grapple.
Yeah, grapple's fine.
Yeah.
Wait, I had an E-tank, didn't I? No, I didn't.
It was 0 + 1.
Oh man.
Yeah, 0.
Of course you save. Come on, MM2. Pull it together.
Saving is for cowards, and I'll die a non-coward.
Honestly, fair.
But yeah, this is, MM2. I have so many nice things to say about you when we get to these interviews and everything, and I think that I have no doubt that you would have gone really far in this upper thing. I wanted to see the rematch versus you and Derp. So, and this would have been like the one where I'm okay losing to see your story, because I know we talked last SGL. I know, last SGL. You beat Derp and you got like a top 3 seed or something, and then fell to him in a BO3.
No, that was.
I think that you felt that was your.
That was summer tournament, but yeah.
Summer tournament, yeah. Felt like that was sort of your moment.
Like
and stuff.
A trash mode for one of the races, and I picked this without boss rando.
Yeah, I can't remember it, but I just remember it was a really cool.
It was a good
series
race,
that I was looking to see.
I was sad I lost.
Yeah,
but yeah. Unlike you, I have no nice things to say about such a mean individual as Nevdi.
We need to sound like Cutie. Come on. Nevdi's a nice individual.
There's not. What do you mean? We need Eddie in here to speak the truth.
Nevdi is my favorite person from New Zealand.
I cringe every time I hear that. It works.
Yeah, Nevdi's also my favorite person from New Zealand because I don't know anyone else from New Zealand. So you're my favorite person by default. Sorry. But yeah, in all seriousness, GG's Nevdi. I'm glad to race you, even though I played like absolute shit. But It's how it is.
It hurts.
It hurts.
I know what I would be like in your position. Like,
yeah, it's okay.
No other way to put it.
Yeah, I'll just crush Smelling and then Aussie and then all the other.
I can't believe one of you or Smelling are going out. I can't believe that it's you or Smelling going out. This is an insane tournament. This is crazy.
It's ridiculous. Like
Smelling's nuts.
Smelling's so good. Like Smelling and Nitro are literally like the dark horses of this tournament, and nobody is saying anything, and it is so sad.
It is sad.
I don't want to see them go out early, but I also don't want to lose.
Yeah. I think Smelling and Nitro had a chance to upset some brackets. It just it didn't fall that way. They're both like really good at this game.
Oh yeah.
Kind of under the radar good at it, I think.
Yeah, they're like they're the rando mains. Well, Smelling's kind of not a rando main, but I don't know. He just plays so much rando that I feel like he's one of those people that could totally just tear through the bracket but lost round 1 because he had to face.
I think yeah. I know that's crazy. Jesus, that's rough.
I mean, there's a reason.
Ridiculous.
There's a reason some people refer to someone taking a reasonable yet completely different route and crushing everyone by 10 minutes is called smelling someone. So
yeah, there is a reason that phrase exists.
And then I got our boy Derp up next round as well. Really proud of Derp as well.
Derp's so good.
Again, Aussie. That was
honestly,
a crazy series.
As long as somebody from MGA Cord wins, I'll be happy.
But I also am sad that I don't get to verse Aussie. Aussie, hey, I really love versing you. So I was happy to see Dirt win, but also sad that it's probably unlikely that we verse because it's been years. But
sad to take a loss to Dirt, but we got some good races out of it.
It was a really cool series. So I'll avenge you. I'll smash Dirt. Easy. No, actually,
easy. So easy. There's not a single person at this tournament Nevdi's afraid of? Question mark. I can't believe Eddie lost. I was hoping to meet him, and I was gonna like do like a full like wrestling like Scott Steiner kind of promo, just talking mad trash to him.
No, Cutie, it's easy. Just lose to fight.
We have lost some. We have lost some matchups, haven't we? Like dreams are broken. I mean, we do have a lower bracket. There's a chance for them to resurface, but yeah, we lost a few matchups I was looking forward to. You're gonna have to beat Eddie in another way.
I already beat him at 80%. That's the only one that matters.
Yeah, I guess that tournament has more money than this one. So yeah, you're right.
I mean, anyway. I'm done. I'm exhausted. This is crazy. This is too much for me.
Yeah.
So,
I think we can wrap it up here. This has been
Nevdi race.
Yeah. I mean, I was picking people for races this afternoon. No one wanted to race me.
It was napping, so I didn't die. But yeah.
Anyway, this interview has gone on for a little while. Gotten a little bit off topic here. Anyway, fantastic best of 3. Game 2 had some really fun drama. Game 1 had some really fun drama. And you guys are both fantastic at this game. I really appreciate you both. Good luck in your next round matches to the both of you. And is there anything else that either of you have to say here before we sign off?
I totally didn't deserve to lose, Nevdi. You suck. I hope you lose to everyone. No, GG's, man. And also, thanks, Cutie.
You deserve this, lose, blah, 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 blah. I love you.
No. No, GG's, Nevdi. Thanks, Cutie and Aussie for comms. Thanks, Fish and Boo, for tracking. Y'all are awesome. Thanks to everybody for participating and make this tournament great.
Yep, absolutely. Do you have any final thoughts, Aussie, before I sign us off here?
No, so I'll just throw my thanks to the runners. Thanks MM2, especially for putting together the tournament, being the admin team. Thanks, Nevdi. Cutie, it's been great commentating with you.
Absolutely, been a lot of fun. And then I would just like to give my thanks to all those people as well, and give one last thanks to you at home watching. Appreciate it. Hope it was as entertaining for you as it was for me. Thank you very much, and we will see you next mission.